Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us as we recognize Wayne Wallace for over 27 years of service with the Lake Mills Police Department. I welcome fellow law enforcement officers, family, and friends. I'd like to especially welcome Wayne's wife of the last 28 years, Amy, and their daughters, Jamie and Emma. I had a saying in here, and I'm going to say it, but C.J. McCauley made this wonderful thing here for Wayne and kind of stole my thunder, but I'll read it anyway. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacekeepers, for they shall be called the children of God. It takes a special person to be willing to serve as a peacekeeper, to be willing to stand up for others, even if that means risking their own well-being. About 28 years ago, Wayne decided he was willing to do just that. So, after graduating from college, Wayne started his law enforcement career with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources as a park ranger. I'm certain there's a joke in that, but we'll just move on. After one season in the Kettle Moraine State Forest, Wayne was hired by the Lake Mills Police Department in 1995. And Wayne, I can imagine you as a young man, which I have to do because we just met not too long ago. With hair on your head, as eager as all of us were at the start of our careers. I bet the wily veteran here today would have some words of wisdom for your younger self. Words that a 24-year-old Wayne would certainly ignore, but words nonetheless. Well, going back in time to give advice to the young version of yourself is impossible. You've been able to share your expertise with every officer on this department. As a field training officer for the last 22 years, you've left your mark on many of the officers, including all of our current officers. Thank you for your commitment to the job of training new officers. Not only have you developed them, you've certainly helped them to avoid some of the pitfalls that were waiting for them. Your legacy lives on in those you've helped to mold into police officers. During his career, Wayne served as an evidence technician, a property room custodian, and a special events coordinator. He's engaged our community through his duties as a patrol officer and also through teaching Charlie Check First and McGruff education programs to our youth. Wayne has earned numerous letters of commendation, a Marksman Award, a Life-Saving Award, and he was selected as the American Legion Officer of the Year. Most impressively, and although I haven't had the pleasure of witnessing it, I'm told that Wayne's air drum solos and singing at briefing are something to behold. Now that you don't have to follow our policy on personal appearance, Alan is really hoping you'll grow your hair out so you can start headbanging along as well. Wayne, as you have a chance to reflect on your time as a police officer, I'm sure that countless incidents will come to mind. Some incidents were exciting and quickly became war stories to share with your peers. Some of them were comical and have been retold countless times at shift briefings, although they most likely wouldn't be believed if you shared them with friends who aren't cops. Some incidents you never shared with anyone and probably would rather forget. However, there are so many good memories created through a law enforcement career. Let the good ones be the ones that stick. When you started this career about 3 decades ago, you probably didn't give any thought to this day. Each day, you put on your uniform. You came to work to serve this community. You positively impacted people in ways that they'll never forget. I'm going to take a second. You want one? Have one with me. For those who would not, could not, or did not express their gratitude, I say thank you. As law enforcement officers, we abide by the law enforcement oath of honor, which states, on my honor, I will never betray my profession, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I'll always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve. Wayne has lived that oath for over 27 years. I'm going to take a water break. As much as today is about Wayne, I have to acknowledge Amy, Jamie, and Emma and their role in helping Wayne get to this point. A career as a law enforcement officer creates unique challenges in a marriage and with family life. Amy, thank you for supporting Wayne throughout his law enforcement career. I have no doubt the journey would have been much more difficult if you were not his co-pilot. Jamie and Emma, I'm sure that Dad missed out on being there for events, holidays, and birthdays over the years. Without the love, support, and understanding that each of you provided, Wayne wouldn't be the man he is today. This day is a significant milestone for each of you. Wayne's time to stand watch as a guardian of the community has come to an end. Take it all in and cherish the fact that you made it through. Although law enforcement's been a large part of Wayne's life for so long, his focus has been centered on his faith and his family. For many years, Wayne and Amy have been involved in foster care. They've welcomed many troubled children into their home as part of the Jefferson County Respite Program. It takes special people to open their home to strangers while also raising 2 children. They continue to support the county foster care program through their church. Wayne's an active member of Real Hope Church, and he finds other ways to give back to the community through the church. A coworker recently commented to me that Wayne's family life has always been one of the best things about him, and that everything he does is for them. It is Wayne's faith and family that make me confident he will be successful in all of his future endeavors. Wayne, thank you for being a peacekeeper. Congratulations on making it to the finish line. We hope you have many years of good health and happiness ahead. Before we have Wayne come up and talk, Lieutenant Cedarwall created a gift for him that he'd like to present to Wayne. So Wayne, you can come up and accept the gift, please.
So this is from all your brothers and sisters here at Lake Mills PD. All of your compliments and everything put in one little box. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Well, first of all, thank you, everybody that showed up today. I truly am grateful. If you'd have told me when I was in high school that I'd have a career as a police officer for over half my life, I probably wouldn't have believed you. I was a very introverted, quiet person that shied away from people more than not. I wasn't the best student in the world, but somehow I got admitted to UW-Stevens Point. I had a passion for the outdoors and pursued a degree in natural resources. I wanted to pursue a career as a game warden. And after I graduated, I worked as a park ranger for a summer at Kettle Moraine State Forest. But there also came a realization that getting a job as a game warden would be extremely difficult because at that time it really was a highly sought after job and very few positions available at the time. So I started applying for a job as a police officer. I've spent most of my life in Jefferson County. I grew up in the city of Jefferson. When a position opened up in the city of Lake Mills, I applied. Close to home, small community, which is really what I was looking for. I basically had very little experience, but the chief at the time, Ron Click, gave me a chance. It wasn't easy. My field training officer at the time was a guy named Mick Selk. Now, Mick was not easy on me. Did I mess up sometimes? Yes. Did I feel like I didn't know what I was doing sometimes? Yes. Did I secretly curse Mick's name under my breath many times, but during field training? Yes. But through it all, he was tough, but he was fair, and I always considered Mick my mentor. More importantly, he became one of my close friends, and we really could talk about anything, whether work-related or not. So that's one of the things that I have always loved about the people that I work with. We're like a family, and like most families, you know, there's some arguments. Sometimes we don't all get along together, but we're there for each other, no matter what. I will miss the camaraderie and the joking around. Just thank you to each and every one of you that I've worked with, both in the past and in the present. I can't think of a better group of people that I've shared the past 27 years with. I want to thank my wife, Amy, for her support throughout the years. She's been my biggest cheerleader and source of encouragement through everything. There's been countless nights away from home, missed weekends, missed holidays, but we got used to it, and it's part of the job. One thing I would tell anyone in law enforcement is have somebody to confide in. For many years, I held my emotions inside of me. In this job, you experience things that most people don't. You see things, or you investigate things that can stay with you the rest of your lives. You don't think about it at the time, but it can have an effect on you emotionally. Have an outlet to get those feelings out, whether it's a significant other, your coworkers, a counselor, or a pastor. Just talk about it. I also want to thank my two daughters, Jamie and Emma. They had to grow up with a dad that wasn't always around, but I'll always remember when I used to work second shift, and luckily I could go home for dinner, and they would be there looking out the window as I pulled into the driveway, and just jumping up and down, being excited to see me, if just for that half an hour of a dinner break. They've grown up to be beautiful young women, and I'm very proud of both of them. Jamie's now a nurse, and Emma's currently in school studying to be a social worker. Both of them wanting to serve other people just like their dad did. Thank you to all the city employees that I've worked with over the years. Everyone in the city offices, DPW, Parks Department, Fire Department, EMS. Thank you to the citizens of Lake Mills for supporting me and my fellow officers for all these years. The last few years have been tough. Nationwide perception of law enforcement has not been positive sometimes. I feel so lucky to be in Lake Mills because through all the anti-police rhetoric, the citizens of Lake Mills have always supported and encouraged all of us. I've asked myself some questions lately. Why did I become a police officer? Has anything I have done made a difference in someone's life? Was it all worth it? All I know is that God has had and has a plan for me. He put me here for a reason. A lot of times we deal with people on their worst days. Sometimes this is a thankless job and we don't feel appreciated. I know that some of the things that I've done or some of the people that I've come into contact with have really shaped and molded me into the officer and person that I am today. One day a few years ago, I was called to somebody's house for an intoxicated person that needed to go to the hospital. They were an alcoholic and needed to go to detox. They were not very nice and resistive to the fact that they needed to go, but ultimately they went. To me, it was just another day and just part of my job. About a year after that, a man walked up to me while I was at one of the gas stations here in town. I didn't know who he was. He said, "I don't know if you remember me or not, but you took me to detox last year." And then it dawned on me who this person was. He looked totally different. He looked healthy, he looked physically fit, totally different than I had dealt with him a year before. He said to me that he wanted to thank me for what I did that day, but he hadn't had the courage to do it. He said he had tried writing me a letter 3 different times, but for some reason he couldn't send it to me. He said that when he saw me here today at the gas station, he just had to stop and say something to me. He said that what I did changed his life that day. He said that he was an alcoholic, and since that day, he had not had 1 drink of alcohol, and his life had changed for the better for him and his family because of what I did. So are there other stories like this that I don't know about? Maybe. All I know is that God put me in that person's life that day and used me as a tool to change their life for the better. So when I ask myself, was it all worth it? How can I not answer yes? if not only for that one person whose life was forever changed. So every police department has that crabby old officer that's near the end of their career that's just counting the days until they retire. So it dawned on me recently that I had become that guy. Law enforcement's been good to me, but it's time for a life change. So when I had the opportunity come to me to go into the private sector and retire from law enforcement, I decided to take that leap. I can't wait to find out what it's like to not work weekends, to not work holidays, to work normal hours Monday through Friday. I'm really looking forward to that opportunity. Again, I thank you all again. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming, and you mean so much to me. Just thank you again for everything.
Ready to speech for this, too?
You guys want to kind of file in right here?
Totally prepared. Oh, wow, that's
I gotta
pages.
go and scan here. I gotta get this.
Am I closing the door?
It's up to you. Just hang tight and I'll let you know when.
The Lakeville Police Department is honored to announce the retirement of Officer James Wallace. On July 3rd, 1995, Officer Wallace started his career with the Lakeville Police Department, where he has given almost 28 years of service. Officer Wallace's ability to empathize and his dedication to duty are just a couple of reasons that Officer Wallace is an asset to this community. Officer Wallace has also served this community by being active with his church and helping children by bringing them into his home when in need. During Officer Wallace's career, he has many extra responsibilities at the police department. Evidence technician, property room custodian, and special events coordinator are included. In 2000, Officer Wallace became a field training officer. He has trained every officer at the Lakeville Police Department in one way or another for over 22 years. Officer Wallace, the effects of your mentoring will go on for years to come. Officer Wallace was named the American Legion Officer of the Year and was awarded the Milestone Award, Life-Saving Award, and numerous peace accommodations during his career. Officer Wallace, we cannot thank you enough for your service to the Lakeville Police Department and the City of Lakeville. We also want to thank Officer Wallace's family, his wife Amy, and the daughters Emma and Amy, for the sacrifices they have made. Officer Wallace.
Thank you to the City of Lakeville for the opportunity to serve them for the past almost 28 years. I can't think of a better place to work. The citizens of Lakeville have always supported myself and my past and current co-workers as long as I've been. Thank you to my wife Amy, my daughters Jamie and Emma, who have always supported me. There have been too many nights, weekends, holidays, and calls that I have missed because of this job, but we made it work. Thank you to all the officers, deputies, troopers, dispatchers, and deputy counties that I've had the privilege to work with over the years. my coworkers at the Lake Mills Police Department, past and present, thank you for your friendship. All of you have helped make me the officer that I am today. To all my brothers and sisters in blue and brown, be safe. Try to make a difference in this world. Lean on each other and support each other. You never know what day will be your last to make the best of this life or again. I'll leave you with one of my favorite Bible verses, God's living. Have I not commanded you? I will leave with one of my favorite Bible verses, God for one night. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will deliver you every day. 68:23 for the final time. I'm 10:42.
Jefferson County 30, 10